Run that beautiful beat.
Oh shit! Too late.
Got him. Oh, bum,
Oh,
Wait,
bum,
wait.
bum,
You said it like 3 seconds to go to leading it. Welcome to the show, episode number 99.
Yeah.
I mean, most
Paid all that money to the rock stars to get a song. We don't
most great things occur in 3 minutes.
oh,
Oh man, the jokes that I just about said.
bunch of fucking stoners
yeah.
around this place.
Sorry, Chad. I should have rolled the intro. Forgot the intro.
Welcome
So,
to the Bro Show Live.
episode number 99. We're mostly here. Abolish said he'll be here later. Yeti will hopefully check in so that we can ask him about some stuff. Let's go around and introduce the panel. But first, let's introduce our sponsors: 2020Mendocino, Easy Swap Pots, State Genetics, Tiki, Madman, and Madam Euphoria Farms. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let's introduce the panel. Baked, you're on my left, so you get to go
What's
first.
up?
What's up, man?
Not much. I'm Baked Pone, Baked PWM. Find me on Instagram and Wake and Bake, and here sometime Sunday nights on Michigan Bros Grow Show. Glad to be here.
Thank you, sir. Tara, welcome.
Here's y'all. Tara Wilson 1409. You can find me on Instagram and here Sundays and the Wake and Bake every other weekend. We're all doing a little bit of traveling and
Except this
out
last
and
weekend.
about kayaking and doing things. So we might be taking breaks from here and now from the Wake and Bake, everybody's jobs and stuff. So be having your notifications on, watching for what's going on. Looking forward to a great night, guys.
Thank you, Tara. We'll get into a little bit about
Tara.
why-
Tara with the professional, man.
Yeah, why we missed the Wake and Bake this week. That was all my fault. Speaking
Oh.
of my fault, Painted Lady, welcome. Please introduce yourself and where everyone can find you.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, chat. Cheers, everybody. Happy Sunday. Everyone can find me on Instagram at Painted Lady Gardens. I'm not even going to say Cannabis because I'm so bad at checking that. So
I'm bad too.
Yeah.
check me out on IG at Painted Lady Gardens and right here on Sunday and Monday nights on YouTube on the Michigan Bros Grow Show.
Thank you, thank you. Spartan Grown, welcome, sir. Fresh off of the other show.
Growing with my fellow
Growing
growers.
with my fellow growers, sorry.
Yeah.
My brain stopped.
On the Cheap Home Grow channel to make it even more confusing. Shout out to everybody. I'm Spartan Grown. You can find me on Instagram under Spartan Grown, all one word, no spaces. Or if you don't want to do social media, you can shoot me an email at spartangrown@gmail.com and I'll try to get back to you there.
Excellent, excellent. Red, Polarity Science, how you
Hello,
doing?
everybody. Cheers. Growers, tokers, everybody, chat, panel. You can find me at Red Setter Farm on Instagram. Find me on YouTube at Red Setter Farm, at Polarity Science. Also for harm reduction, plant entheogens, cannabis talk as well. And also, where else? I'm on Cannabis, rarely active on Cannabis, but you may be able to find a profile on there. Same as Strainly. I'm going to try to get more active on Strainly at the end of the summer. I'm working some things out. So trying to make some things like Rainbow Driver, strawberries and cream available to the community. So you can
Nice.
find a profile on Strainly. So
Is it an on week for Polarity Science, Red?
it is an on week for Polarity Science. We'll be going live. I did a live inoculation 2 weeks ago. Feel free to jump back and check out that video. We're going to take a look at the progress from that live inoculation. May have some tales, stories, tidbits, a little bit of everything. Skilbo, will you be available to join this evening?
I will for a while, yes.
Nice. Okay.
Red, tell them what they've won. What are they supposed to do? They see your face and they should have the association by this point that the message is
Click
coming.
the button.
Click the button, like, subscribe. How's the audio? Give us one of these. Give us one of these. Give us one of these. If for the audio, of course. And you know what, guys? If you are kicking it in chat, please select live chat so you can hang out with us live. It's a much more pleasurable experience. We all love pleasure here, even if it is only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Even if it is
And-
only 3 minutes.
I actually don't even have YouTube pulled up yet, but once I do, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna toggle over to that top chat, live chat. Click on that live chat.
Lead the way, brother.
Just for 3 minutes, though, huh?
Only for the first 3 minutes, of course. Ah, there I'm looping.
Oh, Red, damn
There
it.
we
I
go.
can hear.
You heard the loop?
Yes.
Damn, it actually came through. How'd you hear that? That's
Chat,
great.
you're fantastic. We're getting thumbs up in the chat for the audio.
Very
so that's
good.
very
Audio
nice.
sounds
Some
good.
smoke,
Thank
some
you
love in the
all.
chat.
Yeah, you know what? I love those smoke screens, guys. Send some puffs of smoke our way. Send some love, chat. Right, you guys, let's cloud it up in here. I don't have anything rolled up yet, naturally. So, but
Well, I'll start
Oh,
really
it's a
quick
race.
by saying why we missed the Wake and Bake show. Saturday, I drove Painted Lady and myself to Niagara Falls. We did a cool Niagara Falls tour. We did all the touristy stuff. We paid a lot of money for parking and did stuff that was overpriced and lots of fun. It was a very, very good time, so we missed the show. Sorry about that. Like Tara said, now that it's summer, it's going to be a thing that happens with some of the panelists from time to time. Unfortunately, this time it was me. And as we all know, I'm the only person that keeps the ship running around here. So, shit,
Somebody had to.
yeah, shit doesn't
Come
go
on,
down.
bro.
I'm just kidding. Painted Lady was Skilbo couldn't host the show. I was like, no, not a chance.
Love you, brother. Thank you for understanding.
Well, yeah, Niagara was
welcome.
an awesome time. If anybody in chat has not been Niagara Falls, and I hear that the Canada side's supposed to be better. So all you people in chat from Canada, I hear that the Canada side's better, but the US side was awesome, and I had a great time. And anybody who hasn't seen it needs to see it. I'd never been there. Couldn't believe it.
You get real wet on the Maid of the Mist thing. Real wet.
Real
Moist.
wet, but laugh a lot.
does it last
It's
longer
just
than
like
3
sex.
minutes?
It does, Red. It does. And I
Oh,
like
good.
that. I like
Worth,
that that's
worth
gonna
that
be
money then.
the theme of the show.
You know, since you guys are in New York, I don't want to stop from that. But before we get on from the New York section, I want to give a big shout out to those in the Finger Lakes area, specifically Finger Lakes Finest. Finger Lakes Finest sent me some awesome slaps. You probably can't.
Yes, sir. No, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I was trying to meet
I
up with
got mine,
Finger
too.
Lakes, and we didn't get to link up, but we were
Not
in the same town.
only did Finger Lakes hook me up with some awesome slaps, but if you go on my Instagram, damn, this green, I don't have a green screen.
There you
for this
go.
damn thing. There
It's
we go.
working.
That
It's that
photograph
silhouette.
that he used, he got from me. I
Yeah,
took
you
that
took
photo.
the picture.
That is Finger Lakes. That's his shadow. And I'm
totally.
fortunate enough to be the photographer for this. So thank you very much, Finger Lakes. It's an honor to be.
Is that a top knot or a
logo.
man bun?
I would say that is a man bun. Bunning
Right.
it out there. But that is
All right.
most certainly a cannabis in his hands.
Okay.
So we have a man
It was a
bud
clone,
and
yeah.
bun and a bud in the same photo. So I'm digging it. It was a nice clone. It was a clone that he got. Maybe he brought. I don't know. But yeah, man, he sent me some little slaps. These little
Oh,
guys.
you got the
these
real
little
hookup,
guys.
man.
Oh yeah,
Wet,
he
wet
hooked it up
blanket
good,
says
so
man bun.
thank you very much, Finger
He's
Lakes.
got an
Hopefully it
event
took
coming
you.
up July 10th. He's got an event coming up there where he lives. So check out his page on IG. And
Yes.
if you're in the area, you guys might be able to check it out.
Yeah, so
Cheers, Alpha Left. Sorry we didn't get to link
Well.
up with you. I tried, brother.
I guess we could use that as a segue to upcoming events and what we have going on Saturday sequence. You want to speak to that?
This Saturday, we're going to be floating down the river. If you guys would like to float down the river with us, we posted details on the Michigan Bros Grow Show Instagram page. We're going to be floating down the Argo Cascades in Ann Arbor, and for about 3 or 4 hours after that. If you'd like to be part of that whole thing, join us, and we'll help link up. We'll help drive you from the end to the beginning. We'll help everybody get back to their cars. We did it all last year, and it went off
It
without
all
a
worked
hitch.
out well, yeah.
We even brought
Great time.
our handicapped friend with us, and that went perfectly fine. And they're all coming back, so it's going to be a very, very cool time.
Oh, hell yeah, man. High and
Yeah.
tight,
Yep.
everyday Mary J.
And they're going to be on time this year, right, guys?
We'll see.
They are.
Shit, I got lost last year too, fucking around.
I strongly advocate that you bring novelty floats, not like kayaks and jet skis.
Floating
for this
islands.
thing.
Don't bring
Yeah.
a floating island.
And I strongly advocate you look, more importantly, go to the store and find waterproof sunscreen. Don't be a fucking
Yeah.
hero.
Sunscreen, some
A lot of people tried to be a hero last year and they fucking paid
We
dear
did. A lot of
for it.
people got burned up.
That's
for
me.
sure.
The majority of us were burnt. Well, there was a few of us that weren't, but the majority of us got really burnt up. So bring the
got a little bit of a
sunscreen. I
burn. It
know the
wasn't
weather's not
anywhere
looking
near.
so hot this weekend, but you never know.
It's hard to believe Scobo got burned in a boat, wearing
man.
a safari hat,
Yeah.
and a shirt, I think.
Yeah, man. I got fucking lit up, man.
I'll tell you what,
Oh,
man.
that's
I've
The
been
Irish
damn
blood,
it.
me.
Blood.
Irish blood.
that'll do it, man. I've been outside every single day in the hot, scorching sun through that noon to 4 p.m. scorching range, without a shirt on, etc. Fortunately, enough melanin in my skin to where I haven't burned yet. But I'll tell you what, you put me on water, and I'm
Yeah, dude.
scorched, dude. I am so scorched.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it does. It really does.
If Painted Lady's coming, she's gonna have to wear a wetsuit or something. I don't know.
Why? What's that
Because
supposed to mean?
you have like no skin color. You like
It's
you
tracking
don't-
on
you
you.
don't have a skin color.
We'll be
Everyone's
getting ready
looking
to
at
walk
Spartan
to a
there.
coffee shop, right? It's like 5 minutes, and she's like sunscreening up.
Is there a way to?
Yeah, you know what?
supplement
I'm not gonna look like a
melanin?
fucking purse when I'm 70 either.
There you go.
True.
Crocodile shoes.
Yep, sunscreen.
I think we have a very
I
Or
approve
look like a
the
purse.
PSA. Yeah, I
We
think
have
that
a
was a
very-
great PSA.
important question in chat. Chris Mertz is wondering what color the Michigan Bros Grow Show banana hammocks are.
Well, they can't be green because then the green screens wouldn't work. They'd make our packages disappear. So they got to be a different color.
I vote indigo. Is that
I
off
like
green enough?
purple. Purple's nice.
I-
It's a royal color. Yeah.
First,
for sure.
first,
Yeah.
are any colors off the table besides green?
Purple is probably the best color. That's a good suggestion.
Uh,
The
But
You
you
want the
don't-
tidy whities?
You don't want black because that'll make things look smaller.
Black's my favorite fucking.
Yeah, what's the
slimming.
opposite?
It's
What's
slimming.
the
That's what I
thickening
wear the
color?
most is black.
Hey, enter at your own
I
risk.
think you want horizontal stripes. Is what
There
you
are
want.
vertical
That's gonna make
stripes?
it vertical stripes. Is that what you want?
Stripes.
Okay, yeah.
Not plaid. You don't want plaid.
Oh my
Fuck.
god! I
Plaid
would
goes
look-
camouflage. Camouflage.
Yeah, no ghost
How the
camo.
hell do you
I
say
think
that
it
word?
would
What is
disappear
that
if I
word?
wore plaid. Like,
Camouflage.
Yeah, the
Camouflage.
Urban Command. Cheers, everybody in chat. I'm glad you're hanging out with us. We're still fucking off trying to get our shit together. We don't know what our topic is yet.
oh, we talked about
This is
CannaCon.
good. We got a lot of-
CannaCon Detroit.
That was a topic. It's important that people know that the float is on the 3rd. If you want to join us in Ann Arbor. Details are on Instagram. That's an important topic. Please join us. We'll smoke on the water. It'll be a good time. You can
Yeah,
sing
definitely.
Scobo and I happy birthday. That'll be cool. That was a surprise last year. I was not expecting that. That's always really awkward. What else? We got the Luzerne trip after that. That's probably the next thing for us to talk about. You can find us and our
July 23rd.
goods, our goods and services up there July 23rd and 24th.
By goods, he means
Sure.
banana hammocks, of course.
I
The
do.
goods. The
You'll
good
see us
goods.
up there. We'll have jars of things that you can use. So stop by, see us, and talk to us. Smoke with us. We're gonna have a bunch of places to camp. So if you're interested, maybe you can camp near us as well.
Dude, I got my hammock, man. I'm straight. I got that
Nice,
fucking
dude.
zipper one, so I got to claim 2 trees somewhere.
Is it a banana hammock?
It's red,
Is in the shape of a banana
indeed.
when it hangs up. If it's warm like this, man, a hammock may just suit me just fine. It's been 80 degrees mid. What happened? It was 100 degrees 2 weeks ago, like 40 degrees last weekend, and now we're in the middle of rainstorms and it's 90 degrees. I don't get it. Crazy weather. Hey, chat, throw some smoke signals if you've had some crazy weather.
Did it rain for like 5 straight days for anybody else? We got 1 day off when we were on vacation in Niagara, which was pretty cool. But then drove back into the rain.
I mean, you were in ponchos the entire time in Niagara anyway, so it might as well have just been rained down the whole time, right?
It's a good point. It's a good point. And then after we went over the falls, right, we get it all wet and stuff. Painted lady goes, let's walk up this thing to leave. We're going up this stairwell to get out, and it's a dead end. We had to turn around and go all the way back and then go up the elevator with all the other people.
It was just another way for all the like tourists to get wet, and we thought it was an out, like just a cool way, like to go instead of taking the elevator. We're like, let's take that way and take the stairs. That'll be fun.
Let's
And
get
it was-
wet
Can't
again.
beat the
What?
system.
We gotta go back, and everybody's bottlenecked because everyone thinks it's a fucking exit.
They were. They're like, this isn't the way out. Nope.
It was funny though.
So
Good time.
you said go over the falls. Did you use a barrel, tugboat, a box, cardboard, patty?
We did all of it. We
All
did
of it.
multiple,
Nice.
multiple. Our favorite was I liked the barrel, didn't you?
They have really cool signs right up at the top of the falls that say like no playing next to the water and stuff, and it says like no swimming because the dangers are like rapids, fast moving water, waterfalls, and something else. I was just laughing. I was like, yeah,
Go
no,
for an old tire or
Randomly
something.
rocks.
That current is no
Watch out for the
joke over
rocks,
there,
guys.
man.
yeah, that current's no joke. Welcome,
Cheers,
Rick,
Yeti.
by the way. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Yeah, at Yeti Stash on Instagram. Pleasure to be here with you guys. Sorry for the tardiness.
No problem at all, man. Welcome. I wanted to ask you specifically
How about
about
Atlantically?
the stash and dash. If you wanted to
Yeah.
share details about that.
Well, yeah, stoked to do our first stash and dash. Gonna do it on the river float day. We haven't specifically set aside what we're gonna put out, but in the works on it. Might put a cartridge, one of our new carts out there. Maybe some of the edible collabs, maybe some of our hash rosin. Might separate these out and do a couple of little ones to kind of spread the love out there and get people hunting. I think that might be a fun idea.
Hell yeah,
that's a
man.
cool idea.
But yeah, hopefully it ends up into some broski's hands.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, real excited for the float this year. Unfortunately, I missed the last year, so I will not let that happen again.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that went last year are going to make sure that they make it again this year. So that's really cool. Especially having those guys come from so far away, like so far away, to make sure that they join us. So that's how you know it's a great time.
Yeah. See, I got my my float coming in on Wednesday, I believe. Very excited
Are you
about.
debuting a new piece?
Are you
What's
going
that?
real
What is
basic,
it?
or you got something cool?
It's kind of right in between. It's basic, but it's got
Wow,
a
okay.
little spot on the front that holds a cooler, so I can have my my goodies with me.
Nice,
I'll
class.
probably taking some dabs on the float.
Oh, you definitely can if you want it. I took a dry bag last year and never tipped over, never accidentally fell in the water, nothing. I stayed dry the whole time. So if you put like a peak inside of something waterproof, you could take it easy. Easy.
Nice, yeah, that was the plan.
Yeah, there was never any risk of me getting wet at any point.
I just ate it. Is what I did. So I was just already high, and then we passed some joints around, I guess, too.
Yeah, we smoked. We linked up. A lot of those deals have a way to tie together with like quick connects and stuff. So we were all connected together.
Because of my MacGyvery shit with a motherfucking couple rope ratchets. That's why.
All right. Because of
All right,
Skilbo,
all
because
right.
of Skilbo, we were able to smoke together.
There you go.
Right on.
Yeah, it was a very, very cool time. So yeah, good luck with the stash and dash. Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully some Groskies win, like you said.
for sure. Sure, be good vibes end up in the right hands.
Smash Gambus says, "I'll send someone $10 Cash App to tip the unicorn this year."
That'd be easy. That thing's pretty awkwardly large.
Dude, it's got a base on it though. You could grab the rope probably, tip it over.
Grab it by the reins.
I tell you what though, you tip me over, we're both getting wet. That's a fact.
Jack.
That's a fact.
I prefer Luck Dragon. They have Luck Dragon floats by chance?
They
Is
probably
that
do.
never-ending story?
It is Falcor, the Luck Dragon.
Falcor.
Oh, that would be a cool float. That would make it really good.
Falcor the float. Sweet.
Google this luck dragon.
I want to give a shout out to Goddamn I'm Bake. He says, one more show to go, Scobo. Yes. One more show until we have our 100th show.
How
And
cool is that?
it really is. One of the nicest things is that I've seen the number in the chat go from as low as like 20 something, and now it's, you know, higher and higher. And there's so many of you in the chat that I see every week and you always push good vibes at us, and you ask really fucking good questions. And I just want to say thanks. It's been awesome doing this with you guys, and I hope you can tune in next week for the 100th episode.
We'll have to give away something or something. For the
I
100th.
got a piece of glass that I'll throw away for it next week.
You'll throw away? Is that what you said? Or throw
Throw away.
Okay.
I'm kind of rather stoned at the moment, so we'll work on our grammar as we work through the show.
Work it
Imagine
out.
like a t-shirt launcher, but it was like for glass.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
No
They're
misses,
like,
my
get
friend.
ready. Yeah, you
Get ready, don't
miss
drop
it. That
it.
thing's
Oh.
fucked. It's not a t-shirt.
You imagine getting hit in the head with a piece of a pipe?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like a spoon is like a torpedo.
Bink!
Yeah, oof. You better
Oh, there's a
smoke
good
some
question
off.
going by in chat right now, and that's right up you guys' alley. Can you and the panel talk a little bit about the dry salts, Jax321, Athena, Floraflex, what you like, what you don't like, which is better for cannabis? Thank you. Shout out to Rick Wolf.
Oh, we can talk about it. I don't know about a lot about the specific differences between all of those, but what I would say is, in general, you're just benefiting from not paying a nutrient company to ship water to you. You're getting dry salt nutrients without the water, and then you can basically decide if you agree with the formulation of the Jax or the Athena or the Floraflex. There's a lot more too. Crop salt, veg bloom. There's a bunch of shit you can decide to use. So you can go through all the different brands and figure out which formula works the best for your plants. Yeti, I know you were unmuted. Did you want to chime in on that?
Just like have some friends that are running Floraflex. I haven't messed with it personally, but based off what they're telling me, it's like super water dissolvable. It dissolves into water very easily. So like, I guess it will stay stable for them like upwards of a week, maybe even close to 2 weeks in their res. They also seem like they work really like hand in hand with growers, because like my friend had a specific question in regards to like basically mixing his own concentrate from their powder form and sending it through a doser at like a higher rate than
Sure,
they
yeah.
have mixes for. I think he was looking in more of like the 4% range, so that he can mix kind of like a bigger like res or holding tank of that concentrate and like kind of let that work its way through his system. And they were able to like kind of work with him. Like they didn't have an answer right away, but they did their own experiments and came back with like a good rate for him to be mixing their
That's
nutrient
cool.
for that doser, which I felt like was really cool.
The idea of a doser is so fucking dope to me, man.
They work really good. But with a doser, you obviously have to have liquid nutrients. So for this conversation about powdered nutrients, you have to do exactly what Yeti was talking about. Basically, you
Yeah,
make your own
that's-
bottled nutrient concentrate, your concentrated version, and then it doses that way.
And they made it seem like I'd have to check with him on the rates that they told him, but they made it seem like that mix with that rate would be stable for a good like month for that doser to work through. So
Oh, the
that's
concentrated
kind of
mix?
almost a way for you to, yeah. So you can almost take that powder, like you're saying, and make your own bottled nutrient that you can then ration out. It's already dissolved into a liquid kind of thing.
Well, it's not, maybe it's not
my
easy to
basic-
say, but how much does it cost for something like that? Like, just if somebody
Like
wanted
a
to,
dosing system?
yeah, if you wanted to do that as a home grower, is it feasible to do that?
Well, I can tell you, like they have like Dosatron is definitely like I feel like leading the market, and they're pretty pricey, but it's also kind of one of those things like you get what you pay for. I've seen some knockoff brands like Mix Right that are like more affordable, and that's kind of what I played with, honestly. Seems like I need to replace those every once in a while, like, and even in past experience working with them on the farm, that's where I first was introduced to Mix Right. They kind of get gunked up and seems like they aren't as replaceable as like Dosatron. Seems like it's something that you could get replacement parts for, rebuild one that's broken, whereas the cheaper ones seem like when they're done kind of, is my experience with them.
Yeah, and I think the price point is around $1,000 or so to get into like putting that sort of thing together.
Okay, thanks. I was thinking maybe you could get into maybe 350, $400. Somebody might go, man, this would be a really cool thing to have for my RDWC.
That's
or
what-
It
something
really
like that.
depends.
That's what
man.
I'm looking at now. Is I was thinking a while ago is reef tanks have dosers, so you just dose all your little nutrients for reef tanks.
Yeah.
They're about 300 to 400. I'm looking.
Yeah, the one I use now I think is 200, 250. It's in that range. And it
It's
seems
not
like
bad.
I replaced them once. It seems like every year I've been using it for a year solid and just replaced them. And they have different rates on them too. I feel like if you're going to be using a bunch in sync, it might honestly kind of pay to get that dosatron that's like really accurate. Whereas like I've just always used it on like a 1-part nutrient. So it's just like one in the system. And once I like dial it into the ppms coming out of it that I want, it stays there. So like it did take a lot of tinkering to get it to the right ppms. It wasn't like, something like the label that was on that doser when I like adjusted to set dose rate that I wanted, it was still like overshooting by a long shot. So definitely not as accurate as the dosatrons I've seen work in my friends' gardens, but like a fraction of the cost also.
To kind of answer that question again about the dry amendments, I haven't purchased a bottled nutrient in almost 10 years. I'd like to say this: once you go Jax, you don't go back. I haven't even attempted to source another nutrient line. I haven't thought about sourcing another nutrient line. I don't feel any need to source another nutrient line. I literally use 2 bags of nutrients. I maybe I'll use some microbes. I use Epsom salt on top of those two bags of nutrients. That's it. I use 3 parts to my entire regiment, and I've been doing that for a little over 8 years now. I have no reason to want to go back. I mean, and it's been JR Peters, it's been Jax this whole run. It's completely water soluble. It's one of the best reasons for it. You dissolve that stuff down. You don't have any residuals. You can keep your stock tank for a month and you won't have any gunk in your stock tank. You can let your stock tank sit for a week and your pH won't shift. Your pH buffers and it's solid. I set that thing to 6.2 and I come back 5 days later and it is still at 6.2. I don't have to mess with it, man. I went Jax a long time ago and I get the flavor I want. I get the yields I want. The thing that I changed that I noticed, I had a different, I got more trichome density lately. I changed my lighting. That's the variable that I recently is like the only variable I've actually messed with. I get great plants. I grow under the sunshine. I don't see much of a difference between size, yield, anything like that growing under the sun than growing on with Jax indoors. I mean, same size buds, all that stuff. Jax is great. It's phenomenal. Works excellent. And it tastes great. Smokes clean. No artificial flavors coming out of that stuff at all. It's all pure natural cannabis, man. It's excellent stuff. I love it.
You ever tinker around and add silica?
I don't add anything.
Yeah.
I don't ever
It's a
find
strong
it need.
sales pitch, Red, and I agree with everything
No
you said.
necessity.
No,
man.
no
I
Epsom
don't
salts,
want to
Red?
add Epsom salts. I included that in my regimen.
Well,
That's
yeah,
it.
you have to. Yeah.
It seems like Jax is more simple than the other 2 brands as well. Like it's like one formula that you're rolling with as opposed to like an A, B, and like a veg and a bloom kind of thing on the others. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's no veg, no bloom. The only thing that I do when I switch between veg and bloom is I change my pH. Change my pH just so that the mineral uptake changes. That's all. And I might bounce that around through veg and through flower. Usually I'm between 5.5 and 6.0 in veg, and usually I'm between 6.0 and 6.4 in flower. So that's kind of how I run it. And if it fluctuates, but it doesn't do it accidentally. If it fluctuates, it's because I'm intentionally doing it. So that's what I love about that stuff.
If you want to, you can get really in-depth. There's a lot of mixes you can use like MKP and stuff to mess with your Jax if you want to make it more complicated. But I've noticed that the very simple 3-2-1 has worked amazingly well for years now. Red turned me onto it, and I haven't wavered much since then. I've done organic and stuff like that since then, but I haven't messed with any other nutrients, that's for sure.
No, you guys are both putting out happy plants consistently. There's not a
Yeah.
wild variance in things.
My
But like I would also say that I don't think that that says that there's anything wrong with like the other brands. People love Floraflex, so I'm sure it's just fine. And I would assume that it's very, very, very similar. Um, and my experiences with Jax would lead me to not want to switch, just like theirs would probably lead them to not want to switch. So I can see why people are strong in those camps.
I've always felt
And
that as a hobby that this is like some people want to shake a bunch of bottles and some people want to do a hands-off thing and other people want to get their hands in the dirt and other people want to be scientific about it.
Yeah.
And it's
Sure.
you see what I'm saying, Painted Lady?
Yep, everybody has their own thing. I really liked Veg Bloom. I still use Shine. I alternate that in sometimes when I'm in flower. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love that. Yeah, I love that Jax makes it easy, right, to do what you want to do, but still gives you the synthetic approach where you can adjust the nutrients and stuff if you wanted to. You can adjust like how you deliver them and when, and that's a lot of the stuff that you can't do when you're doing the organics. So like you can still have the ease sort of like you would have with organics because you can set up a res and be very more similar to water only or something like that, but with a lot more of the hands-on approach.
Yeah. I run Jax. But I do add armor psi first. But I want to try power psi. And I just
Yeah.
found that greened up the stems a little bit better, but other than that, I don't do anything. I might dilute it for like seedlings, but that's it. I've never had like a burn issue or anything full strength.
Indica asks, how does it mix with water temps? I use an electric kettle to mix my Jax. So I heat water until it's boiling or close to boiling or whatever. And then I pour it into I use paint mixing cups. Red turned me onto this. I measure out my Jax in paint mixing cups on a scale. And then I just pour some of that water in there. Mix up that water until it's fully dissolved, which takes like 5 seconds. And then I pour that into my res and then you're good to go.
So what is the 3-2-1 of Jax 3-2-1?
3 grams, 2 grams, and 1 grams. So 3 grams of A, 2 grams of B, and 1 gram of Epsom salt. They actually have a different recipe. It's like 3.46, I think, to 2.4 to 1.2.
Is that for like aggressive feeding plants or something?
That's a ratio of 3 to 2 to 1. No
Right.
matter how you do it, if you do
Right.
3, 6, 2, 4, 1, 2, that's still 3 to 2 to 1 if you reduce those fractions down. So what I do is I don't even count how many gallons of water I'm going to be measuring out. I just do an estimated amount. Let's say, I look at my res, I think I could hold 30 gallons. So I'm going to use 30 gallons as my multiplier, and then I'm going to multiply 30 times 3, weigh out 90 grams of the base solution. I'm going to take that 30 gallons, multiply by 2, and weigh out 60 grams of the calcium nitrate, and then I'm going to do the same with magnesium sulfate at 1 times 30 would be 30 grams.
Right.
And then
But the official Jax formula is more. It's 3.6 grams per gallon.
Well, they're shooting for like a 2.0 EC.
Yeah.
So it's all going to
So
depend on what EC you want to actually get out of it. So you can just keep your ratio the same and just continue to dilute with water. So that's what I do. If you do the 3 to 2, that whole, I don't want to overcomplicate it. My friend, they gave me this multiplication factor to do it. It was 3.6 and 2.4. And I said, and I did the math. I said, it's a reduced down to 3 to 2 to 1. And I want an EC different than when you run. So I'm going to dilute it anyway. So what I do is I got my EC meter sitting in my reservoir. I pour in all 3 of my Jax. So you have to do it in a certain order. And then I'll just start adding water. And then and I'll just watch my EC. I may add 25 gallons. I may add 45 gallons. If I want a higher EC, I'll lower the amount of water I put in there. If I want a lower EC, I'll include more water in there, but not to overcomplicate it. What I'm looking for is that ratio of the nutrients and then whatever EC that I need. Because if I give it full strength and I already see that my plants are burning, I want to dilute that way, way, way down. Those plants hardly need any nutrients if that's the case. So, what I do is I just stick with a simple ratio, weigh it out per what I think the res will hold, put it in there, and then I'll fill up the res completely, or I'll fill up until my Blue Lab meter says, 0.8 on the EC scale or 1.2 on the EC scale. I'm a 1.0 to 1.2 EC. So
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. I was just trying to say specifically that I was saying numbers that weren't what Jax suggests.
Right.
And the reason why is because I felt like they were too strong.
And
So
and
I
you
was
could
kinda-
and you could even strengthen it up more than that, and you could say what were they? It was 3.6. So you could double that and say 7.2, and
Sure.
you know, and do the same factors if you want to do that per gallon, and do like a what 3.0 EC or 4.
Like you said, just dilute it less, and
Just
then you get the
dilute it
same
less.
effect.
Yep, and the ratio stays the same all the way down. And I didn't know about this ratio thing. I was using this like 1.75 to 1.5, or I'm sorry, it was like 3.75 grams to 2.5 grams to 1.25 grams, right? And I was like doing this ratio for the first 3 years. I didn't even use Epsom salt. It was just 2 parts. So I didn't even use magnesium sulfate. I just ran the A and the B. And it did fine, man. I didn't even pH. My buddy was like, it buffers in the soil. You don't got to worry about pHing. I think he meant in veg because it kind of sits at like 5.5, 5.6. But I ran like a 5.4, 4.9 pH for like 2 years before I realized what my issues were. You know, so like, but anyways, I'm digressing. But that ratio, I was like watching some Green Jeans stuff and like maybe watching GrowTube back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they were talking about this 3 to 2 to 1 thing. I was like, what the hell is this 3-2-1 thing? Everybody started talking about Jacks. I'm like, I've been running Jacks for years. I never heard about this. And I did the math with the numbers that my friend gave me, and I was like, no shit. 3.75 to 2.5 and 1.25 sure as hell is a 3 to 2 to 1 ratio. So I just started reducing it, and it made my life so much easier when I just started putting the amount of nutrients based on an estimation and then just adding the water until I got that right EC. Because the important part is keeping that ratio the same. You know, you don't want to give too much cal nitrate and not enough base, because then you're giving it too much calcium or wasting calcium and stuff. So you just want to I won't beat this dead horse too far by saying that keep that ratio the same, but keep the ratio the same.
Yeah, it's important. All that advice is very good advice. You can just mix it at 3-2-1 and just add or remove water according to what you
and
need.
there's other ratios besides the 3 to 2 to 1, and I don't mean like and I don't mean like taking it away from the reduction, but I mean like I think Mean Gene does something where he actually adds, it's more like 3 to 2.2 to like 1 or something like that. He does a ratio. He does some weird funky stuff where he had some like fulvic acid and things also. So when you add something, you may actually need to reduce the ratio of something else, because you know you want to keep your balance right, and you don't want your EC to go too far out.
It's affecting uptake or something like that.
Exactly.
So in the perspective of some other stuff, Joshua Merriman asks, what do you think of bloom boosters, and if and when to use them? We don't use bloom boosters with the Jacks. So does someone that uses bloom boosters have some advice to add here?
Well,
I
have you
use
ever-
one.
in the past.
I
Super
use
strong.
I use Shine.
Moab.
Shine from Veg Bloom.
Yep. I love it. And I use it from week
Yeah.
1 to week about 4, 5.
Jax has a bloom if you wanted to use it. I've never used any of their extra stuff.
Yeah, I don't use too many
It
others.
seems like they're all real strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed about all of them, is that they're real strong. And like when I'm looking at directions on the back of a bottle, I'm usually like 50% of what they recommend. And on those bloom,
Oh, you got abducted. You're muted.
sorry. Yeah, I was just saying I like to use them at like a lot lower of a rate than they recommend, like usually like 25% of what they recommend. And usually, honestly, when I've used them, usually just 1 or 2 applications right around like week 3 to week 5 kind of thing, like trying to stay like a mid-flower kind of thing was my mindset with them. And I had noticed definitely them put on more weight and like way more density, but at the same time, it's like a biomass kind of thing. Like it's putting on more biomass. So like it's not something I use anymore because it's not helping with like resin production that I've personally experienced.
Like it doesn't
But-
increase resin yield?
it doesn't, like, what I've noticed is it doesn't seem like it puts on more resin. It seems like it just puts on more biomass. So like
That's interesting.
strains, I mean, it's helped out with strains that are like on the fluffier, larger side, kind of just like become a more dense bud and give them a little bit more bag appeal. But like, you know, use them too strong and you'll end up with like everything looking exactly the same and just like little rocks basically. So like, I've always just kind of erred on the side of caution when using them. And yeah,
Yeah, I agree. They're super strong usually in the potassium and phosphorus
for sure.
For bloom.
I've used,
so you gotta be careful.
I personally, the one I used was LBS, or like pounds, whatever. It was from Roots Organics company. It's obviously not an organic product. I think it's under their Soul line, I believe. But same thing. It's like a crystal looking product. You know what I mean? Like nothing natural.
Yeah.
Or
I used Cha-Ching, right, from Fox Farm.
Yeah, I had some of it years and years ago.
It's like MSG. It looks like you're putting straight MSG in your water.
For real.
I don't like
the other one was Open Sesame, Cha-Ching, and then there was one with Godzilla on it.
Tiger. Oh, I thought there was Tiger one.
Beastie Blooms. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tiger Bloom.
Yeah, a lot of those products.
Yeah.
I don't like relying on nutrients for weight though.
Yeah.
I feel like nutrients are there, I don't know, for a different reason. Weight's gonna come from all your other factors, training, genetics, you know,
Light.
you know, proper scrogging, light, yeah, all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I know it can play a little bit of a factor, but I don't think it's, that's why I don't feel the need to add anything. Just keep your plants happy and praying.
I don't see this system where like I don't see it like being a thing where you can like inject where you, like the more you feed your plant, it's just gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna uptake as much as you give me. You're not injecting
think of it as
through the
steroids.
roots, you know? Yeah, it's not steroids. Like it's only gonna uptake what it wants to uptake, and the rest is waste, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it blocks out and burns out.
I disagree a little bit. I think in synthetic feed, it's going to uptake everything if that hits the root. It's like a
but it locks
like
out.
a chemical process.
It locks out and then
It
burns
does the
out.
same thing organically.
Right, as we're saying, it's gonna anything that's hits the root, it's gonna grab it and it's gonna pull it up. But I also do think that bloom boosters do work if used right, and they do increase yield.
I noticed the difference when I started using Shine, and I realized that Shine is part of the Veg Bloom like line, but I don't use the whole Veg Bloom line. I use Bloom Yellow bottles, and I add that as an additive because it got me almost 21 ounces off of a lemon Jeffrey.
Hell yeah, man.
So
and I find the same thing, and for me, it's
I keep using it.
Yeah, for me, it's not so much the phosphorus; it's the potassium.
Yeah.
And that potassium, I even try to. This is at home, and this is an organic situation. I try to actually what I call front end load my potassium. So early flower, like week 1, is when I'll top dress something that's high in potassium. You know.
Yeah, what are you using for high potassium for that?
I'm still using that. I've still got that same fucking bag of compost tea blend they gave me a year ago.
Oh,
yeah. I'm almost out, but that's what I'm using. It's like less than a 110.
Yeah.
So it's like perfect for what I'm needing. When I get run out of that, I'll find something else that I've got on the shelf before I go buy something because I got plenty of shit just sitting around here. So that's what I'll do.
This is what we use. This is what we use with the jacks to do that, Spartan. We use MKP, which is the 05234.
Yeah, but see, I want the phosphate. See that phosphorus? I mean, that's higher than the fucking potassium. I'm after the potassium.
Right. But that's just about 100% concentration of salts, which is nice. The one I have is actually like 05248 or something like that.
I still feel like once you start pumping these plants bigger than what they're meant to grow, the quality goes down. You might have a good yield, but the flavor changes. Everything about it changes. You start like foxtails. Like foxtail to me is not yield. It's not more weight. It's stresses on the plant. I don't want that as far for my bag appeal. I want a nice pine cone that's closed. I want a closed pine cone, not an open pine cone, you know? If I just find that like when over yields, like it just starts to the buds push out. You know?
El Diablo in chat says, does anyone use langbonite in flour? I do.
I would imagine that most people do, though, right? Is that just something that you put in your soil?
That would be
It's like a mineral.
So langbonite, I believe, off the top of my head, that would be, is that sulfur and potassium? Is that what's in langbonite?
I
I
think,
think
so.
it's like straight potassium. Like I think it's like a zero
It's like
zero
0022. I think it's a
Yeah.
22.
I think sulfur is not represented on the NPK, so I think it's sulfur and potassium together. I think that's the two minerals that is.
Is there any other product on like the market organically to get that much potassium? Because I feel like they pulled it a couple of years ago, and I couldn't find anything else to use really. And that's when I started looking into some of these other bloom boosts really.
Well, like langbonite's a good one. I like that one because that sulfur helps with terpenes too. You know, so it's not like sulfur is a bad thing, but I'm just saying when you look at these minerals, they usually come with other things. You know, another input that would be plant based would be like a kelp, or I don't know. I'd have to do some research. But
how do you feel about using kelp in flour though? Like, I've found that if when I've used way too much kelp, it's made the plants go really, really like.
Well, that's two different
super
things. You asked me
branchy
what
and shit.
you know,
Yeah.
what do I feel like about using kelp, or what do I
Yeah.
feel like about using too much kelp? I've got two different answers.
How about in flour? If
Weren't
you're
you
using
saying
that?
not to use kelp recently because of heavy metals? To use something else?
So what I would say is know your source of kelp, because what happens with kelp that a lot of people don't look at is you get a lot of sodium, and you start building. If you're reusing soils and you're not changing out your soils, one of the things they can build up would be sodium, and it's not something that's easy to see. You know what I mean? To identify unless you're getting a soil test.
Can you rinse your kelp?
And then heavy metals. Well, that's what I mean. Know your source. So, you know, if you do some research on your source, make sure they have some kind of testing for heavy metals and sodium levels. Would be the two things I'd really be worried about.
I seem to remember that being the issue with the langbonite a few years back, and that's why I think it was like arsenic or something. Is that not an issue anymore?
Well, I mean, it's going to be an issue in some grades of it, and then other grades not so much. So, like I said, if you,
Gotcha.
I usually the first place I look when I'm worried about heavy metals specifically, first place I look is I'll just go to Build a Soil and see what they have, because I know he said it multiple times that when he puts a product on his shelves, he sends it out to be independently tested to make sure that the independent test matches what the test that they're providing him is. So, I mean, if he's going through that much work, I trust it, you know?
Yeah, it seems like they put a lot of good information out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Solid resource.
Is langbonite a pretty fast acting thing? You put it as like a top dress for specific weeks?
Yeah, it's pretty quick, I'd say. Within a week, it's going to get in.
It seems really like hard and like mineral based though. It's like what I've come across bags that were like almost solid rock at one point. Like
Damn,
maybe because humidity's getting to it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because the stuff that I've been using is like salt crystals or something. It's like really fine almost.
And it seems like it breaks down relatively quick.
I gotta see if I still.
Well, I mean, I can't really tell. I don't see it sitting on the soil surface, but it could.
True.
I have like a pretty thick mulch layers, so it gets pushed right through on the first water.
Smash Cannabis says Coot says it takes weeks to break down. So I
it seems like with like the early mix, like I would just mix it with your flour mix kind of thing instead of trying to top dress it mid flour. Is kind of how I would use it personally.
Yeah, early on though, you wouldn't want to like be going in there on week 4 top dressing it, because by the time it breaks down, now you're into week 5, 6, and you don't really need all that at that time. So that's when I like I said, when that other mix I was using, I like to top dress it early on, week 1, week 2, because then it's like getting available right in the middle of the cycle where I want it to be available, right when you want that bloom booster. But right when it stops stretching and it starts setting the flower and it starts bulking up, and it needs that extra potassium to help with the budding. You know, I don't know, man. I've done it without it and I've done it with it, and it's a huge fucking difference for me. Huge difference. So there's your langbonite, but yeah, but it doesn't look on the back and it should tell you like what the actual mineral is.
Yeah, what is langbonite?
I'm thinking sulfur. And
it says langbonite is a naturally mined crystalline mineral that supplies 3 vital plant nutrients: potassium, magnesium, and sulfur, all in water-soluble sulfate form. Its neutral pH does not alter soil acidity, and its maximum chlorine content is less than 3%, minimizing the potential for fertilizer burn. It is widely used on sensitive vegetables and fruit crops that require high fertilization rates but do not tolerate high levels of chlorine or soluble salts. This standard grade langbonite has a typical SGN of 95 and is an excellent source of readily available sulfur, potassium, and magnesium.
Right on.
Soluble potash is 22, magnesium is 10.8. That's all water soluble, and the sulfur is 22% combined sulfur, derived from sulfate of potash and magnesia.
So just think of langbonite as what that is in mineral. Looking at the mineral aspect, is it's just Epsom salt with potassium stuck to it.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Yep. So it'd be like your bloom booster basically. It throws potassium in on and it leaves the phosphorus out.
That's one of the reasons why I love using Epsom, is because it's got the sulfur in there. So that langbonite sounds really, really nice. Like Smash says, it's something you put in your first week of flower, and it starts breaks down for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it gives you your bloom boost. Really, really cool.
So I have a box of that, so that's probably something that I would substitute. So once I run out of this other bag of shit, I'll be using probably langbonite in its stead.
Another question from chat. You want to go ahead, Scobo?
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask Eric's question. First, try to plant autoflowers directly into the ground. What to expect? You're going to get better results than containers, because in containers, usually when the tap root hits the bottom or hits a wall is when it starts to trigger flower. So planting directly in the ground, your plants are going to get as big as they can possibly genetically get, which is really, really nice. And then other than that, it depends a lot on where it is, right? You need a lot of light, and the autoflowers are generally a little bit weaker outdoors in my experience. I grew a bunch of them in a greenhouse, so take good care of them. Keep it lollipop so it keeps away from the pests that are near the ground, and you should have good results.
Yeah, I had pretty good luck with them a couple years back. I built a tiny greenhouse just for autoflowers that topped out at 5 feet, and some of them ended up hitting the top plastic on it, actually stretched a lot taller than I thought they were going to.
Yeah, they're going to get as big as they can get, right? I mean, obviously that's true of every plant, but they're as unrestricted as they can get, and they're gonna do it.
Yeah, it seemed like they never stressed out either. Their pots weren't getting beat on by the sun, so they were nice and cool and watered in properly the whole time. I set up a little drip irrigation for them that ran once a week, and yeah, I transplanted them out there when they were real small, maybe basically when they rooted out a solo cup. I got them transplanted out there at a good time where their roots weren't stressing at all, and it just really took off. I kind of shaded them for the first week in there, had a shade cover over the hoop, and it was actually pretty decent. I was really impressed with them. They were what were they, Fast Buds, Skittles, and some Mephisto. I can't remember the strain on them, but overall they all did really well.
Yeah, I grew a bunch, but they were all in containers, so I don't have a whole lot of advice as far as what the yields I got and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I feel like yield wasn't stellar for me from what I remember, but I was just stoked that little effort. I want to say they got morning sun up to around 3 o'clock in the afternoon of direct light every day. So I'm sure if they had some more light, they would have put on even more. But even still, definitely impressive size buds and real fruity terps is what I remembered off most of them as well. It seemed like they all had a very similar terp profile, even though there's a bunch of different strains out there.
That sounds about right for Fast Buds.
True.
Baked, I had a question for you. Would you be interested in sharing some details about your garage, what you got going on over there?
Ooh.
Just a little update.
Yeah. So I guess last time I told them about us taking down the ceiling. Shit ton of insulation came down, so I had to clean all that up. But the framers got in and finished in like 3 days. So I got a bunch of framing in there. And now I just measured everything yesterday. And then tomorrow I'm gonna call Duramax panels and see if they can give me a discount or something, because it says call if you need over 150 panels, and I think I will. But I have insulation in the walls everywhere still, cellulose, and I plan to kind of just put in the ceilings first, and then have maybe some insulators suck out the walls up to the ceiling, and that way I can do the walls, the vertical walls, and have everything sprayed in closed cell. So
Close
right
cell foam,
now,
yeah.
So you have the electrical already ran then?
well, that's what I'm talking to electricians, see what they want to do first too.
Oh, they should be
If
doing that
it,
shit all
yeah,
first. Yeah. Let
but
them
there's a
power that
bunch
shit.
of, that's the thing. There's a bunch of, yeah, it's already ran all over the place. So I don't know how they're
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
want to go about it.
and you may want to pull your boxes out further too from the wall so that you can actually spray even more in there if you want, unless you're going for like a really thin coat.
Well, we got to figure out if the electrician wants the wiring inside of the wall or outside of the wall. That's the main.
Yeah.
Usually they
Thank
just
you.
spray right over it.
I thought you said you wanted them to go with conduit on the outside of the wall.
Yeah, but what he's saying is, do I need to pull out all my wiring, or should we just disconnect it and leave it in the wall?
There you go. Disconnect
Yeah,
it from the
and
wall.
so
Yeah, definitely do
yeah.
that.
So yeah, I'm
Even though
talking
that's a
with,
lot of money, just even in scrap.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
you want to come pull it out?
you could
You can
probably
have it.
reuse a lot of that on this new job if you just use a fish tape and pull all this shit right back up out of there. After you disconnect, you can run it right back through.
So I had a question, Baked. For your grow, for your Duramax panels, have you thought about maybe not, or how do I rephrase this? Only using the Duramax panels in the grow spaces and in like the drying room, and then using like purple board or drywall or something for your hallways and stuff?
Oh yeah, after pricing it out, I'm only getting inside like the grow room, the
Yeah.
dry
Okay.
room, and the
Okay.
hash
Yeah.
room. The
You're
Perfect.
not doing
hallways and everything not important will.
and it's just the walls, not the ceiling,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm doing Duramax ceiling.
Oh, you're doing Duramax
Yeah,
ceilings.
you can do ceiling. So the ceiling will have a bunch of cellulose on top.
Can you give me a quote on what size room and what it's going to cost you a room in that?
Okay, so like the 12 by 12 is gonna cost about, rounded off to 2K for ceiling and
In the walls.
walls, using their calculator and stuff.
And
So
that's for
maybe,
10
yeah,
foot, right?
that's 10 foot 2 inches tall, and then it's like 12 foot one way and 11 like 9 the other, something like that.
Are you going to use like the area on top of that as like a mezzanine or for storage or anything else like that? Since it doesn't go all the way up to like the rafters and shit, or does
I
that?
guess.
Is that what your
What do you
sidewalls are?
mean?
Is like 10 feet?
He's asking if you're going to store stuff on top of like where your room.
No, it's gonna go all the way to the rafters.
Okay.
So I could store stuff like an attic in the rafters, but I don't think I will. I'm gonna put as much insulation as I can up there. So
Yeah,
2
that's a
minutes
good
to
idea.
hash time.
yeah. Oh, but yeah. So next step is walls, but I guess talk to electrician. I gotta see what they're gonna do. But
And I'm going to help put in walls.
yeah, I'm calling Duramax tomorrow and seeing what they can do for me. I might as well order the panels, you know.
Do
and
those
then
have special fasteners?
No, it's just flathead, and they say if you're using high humidity area, use stainless steel ones or whatever. But they're just flathead screws.
So chat, Shredder suggests, has anyone ever thought about using vinyl flooring for walls? That's actually kind of a good idea, I think.
I have not thought of that, but I'm thinking of it right now.
That sounds kind of like what FRP is. So you would just, I don't know what he would put over or under the vinyl, but
Be
the
back, y'all. I'm
FRP.
headed to Big Lots right now to go grab me some
Staple
nice
up
chocolate
foam,
brown.
stapling up foam, and then I'm going to put wood grain on all the walls like the 80s.
Nice. Keep it classy.
Oh
That pine.
God.
He wants that cabin effect.
I hate that wood paneling
Yeah,
crap.
wood paneling, dude, on all the walls.
So many drugs were going through those boomers' heads.
That'd be so tits. Great.
But
So
yeah.
we went to the CanCon on Friday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
We should chit chat about CanCon
Hash
a little
time in
bit.
a sec here.
Yeah, CanCon was pretty cool. CanCon Detroit.
Hashtag.
I got the
Yeah.
Loraflex shirt. I was at the Loraflex booth. These are the lights that I use in flower. So they hooked me up with a shirt. They didn't have a shirt small enough for Painted Lady, so she didn't get one. But they gave some of the other folks in our crew shirts. So that was very nice. We checked out every booth. They had some really cool ones. There was a booth where there were joint papers that were wildflower seeds. So when you threw the tips out, they grew wildflowers. That was pretty cool.
That's
Oh,
really
it's
cool.
super cool. I liked that a lot. Those dudes were total hippies and really cool. I should go get that. Does anyone have those? Spartan, do you have yours
Barton,
nearby?
do you have yours near you? Yeah.
Yeah, show those. I thought those were super cool. That was a cute idea.
I'm fucking dying over here from this.
It's called Bloomer, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
It's
Bloomer.
called. Let me see. Yes, Bloomer. These are cones that they have the tips already in them.
Sweet.
And then here's one of the tips, and it's a beeswax tip. You can't really see it on camera, but there's little specks in it, and those are inside. The specks are the
seeds themselves.
seeds themselves. And
Wildflowers.
I'll tell you what, when you smoke through it, it cools down the smoke. It makes it, and then the beeswax melts just slightly, I guess. And it's supposed to coat your lips and moisturize. I didn't notice any of that shit.
Chapstick in a joint form.
I didn't notice any of that.
Say that's not a selling point for most stoners.
No,
I know.
I'm thinking no. It's like wearing
but-
wax lips from the 70s.
So
It's a selling point for me.
I used one. See how it's a little bit darker?
Oh, interesting. So it was a filter.
So I used it. Yeah. So I just stuck it in there and rolled my joint. Used it as a filter. It was great. I really, it was like having a bong filter, kind of like it made it so much cooler. But and then I just took a part. I smoked it down to the tip, and then I just fucking ripped the paper off of it. And I think I can get another use out of it, maybe. So that'd be cool.
So Adam Baum brings up that the High Life booth was popping. I saw the High Life, someone with a High Life shirt walk up and flipped their sign around because the High Life crew didn't show up to CanCon this year. They didn't want to talk to the people. And by the way, they were the only MCMA brand that was represented there. So they were the only one that show.
Those booths are 4K. So they paid 4K.
Oh my
Paid
gosh.
4K and didn't show up.
Wow.
Okay. So then someone from High Life's in one of their polos, right? Not even undercover, really. I watched him walk up and turn the sign around so people wouldn't be able to see who didn't show up, right? So myself and a friend allegedly turned the sign back around so you could see who didn't show up. And then someone put an MCMA sticker on there to remind people who they represent at High Life. And Rick Thompson took a picture of it the next Sunday, I think. So they still hadn't turned it around yesterday or today.
Awesome.
So very, very cool that the guy checked one time in an entire 2-day event to make sure that he did his job well. So
He probably went home.
yeah. So High Life didn't show up to get protested against. So we did our little bit of a miniature protest against them. People took pictures in front of their empty booth. It was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah,
was
there's
a
a
good
lot
time.
of seed banks.
Ethos was there.
What'd you get, Painted Lady?
Oh, did you
yeah.
ask for a bag?
Ethos was there, and guess what I got for being for
OG?
my multi-pass number is tier 1 and I'm number 22, and so I have a super low number, and so when I showed my pass, guess what I fucking got, you guys? I was so stoked.
Let's see it.
So all the way leading up, before she got to show her pass,
Loving in her eyes.
we were
Galactic
sitting there,
grape.
yeah, eyeballing
Yeah, buddy.
these exact seeds.
Yep.
Wow.
And they
I
were
can't
like,
wait to see
yeah,
that.
you can pick one of these for
Wow,
free.
that's
She was like,
awesome.
wow, that's the ones I was going to buy.
Is it
$150
reg?
just
Are
for
there-
being a multi-pass tier 1.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yep.
You
for a
have
while.
so much heat on deck, Painted Lady. It's like
Man,
crazy.
I'm so lucky. I don't even know what to run next. I'm like, it's blowing my mind.
We
What's the
met.
cross on
Good karma.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
man.
Grape Diamonds with something,
Yeti
right?
asked
Painted
for the
Lady.
cross.
Grape Diamonds and Stardog.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Yeah, Grape Diamonds is one of my favorites, and I'm getting ready to just harvest another one of those. So, yeah, I'm
means
stoked to do
Adam's
this
getting a
with
call.
us.
Rare Dankness was there. We met him.
That was so cool. So Scott
Yeah.
from Rare Dankness was there. Got to meet Scott,
That's
the
awesome.
the OG. So that was really, really neat.
Hey, you say OG and Rare Dankness. I used to grow
Yeah.
Lima Bean OG, which is
He's
a Rare
got Scott's
Dankness.
OG, which is what Matt picked up, which is
Yeah,
really
he was
cool.
selling seeds for like 80 a pack, which was pretty good.
So I got two
Wow.
things that I thought were I don't know what I can pick is better. Either the different fans that came up and just stopped me to say hi or take a picture or something. Fuck, I love that shit, man. And so
Spartan's famous.
it's just funny talking to people, man. I just love talking. I'm about the community. That's what the fuck I'm about. So, and then the second
Mr. Manny D, shout out, man.
yeah, Mr. Manny
Yeah.
D.
Yeah,
was in
Manny.
there.
We got to meet
What
Manny.
up?
Saw what's their name? I got it up here. Exotic Nurseries was there. He does clones and shit out of, I think, Ann Arbor, he said. But anyway, the other one was the booth, the HLG booth. Fucking Wolverine Grown was in there with his championship belt, and then fucking Grow Mouse was there.
Oh shit, a Grow Mouse sighting? Wow.
Fucking
Yeah.
Grow Mouse was there, man.
We
I sat there
chatted
talking
with
to him
him.
for so long.
It's so funny. I talked to him for like 10 minutes or whatever and walked away, and they're like, "Do you know who you were talking to?" And I was like, "No." They're like, "That was Grow Mouse."
Yeah.
That was really cool. He
It
was
funny
really
because Matt
yeah.
was with us, and Matt did the same thing. Was he standing there talking with you? Yeah, both of and I was talking to him for so long. You know, you guys just walked past, so I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go." You know, everybody's gone. So then I walked up to the group, and I was telling Matt, I'm like, "Dude, I was talking to Gromouse. That's what took me so long." He said, "Gromouse was over there." I'm like, "He's right there in the blue shirt." He goes, "I was talking to him. I didn't even know it was him."
Yeah, he was like just a regular guy, you know, not trying to be a celebrity, just chilling there.
Was he or was he not wearing the helmet?
No.
Oh,
No,
Damn
no,
it.
dude. Oh, come on. Nobody would have fucking, everybody would have known who it was then. Shit.
That's not incognito for sure.
there was a new
This one is-
HLG there.
Oh, dude.
Little
yeah.
4x4 black thing. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Like a little scorpion thing. Yep.
Yeah.
But they said,
Yeah, they said stay tuned for more.
yeah, so something's about to drop. So don't.
They
Yeah.
walked up
Wow.
judging that book by its cover. They're like, "This is the smallest scorpion light I've ever seen. We got to figure out what this is. What's this little black guy?"
Yeah.
I would like to welcome a special guest to the show. Adam, are you with us? He may or may not be with us yet. Well, that just didn't work at all, did it? I thought, oh,
Nice
wait
try.
that whole time, and everything will just segue in smoothly.
All right, we'll get it. We'll get it.
Man,
I'm still doing my hash time dab here, so you're gonna have to.
I want to show off this, man.
Maybe
I
it's
got a
just
new
a muting.
piece. Check this
Oh.
out.
Muted.
Okay.
Is that like color changing glass?
Yeah, it is.
Ah.
This is the
Yeah.
first bowl in it, man, and
That's what this thing is.
yeah, I'm digging it. It's got a nice little marble.
And then when you clean it, it like goes back
Yeah.
to normal. It's crazy.
Where'd
Yep.
you get that from, Skilbo?
This one I bought in Detroit. I bought this one last week. So I do want to give a shout out to, since I'm doing this, to the cupboard. It's the oldest glass place around. I just recently had to take a trip down to pick my dad up. So whenever I'm around Cincinnati, I always go there and check in with them. And they're super dope people, really nice. And just give them a shout out, man. There's love for everybody around.
Shout out the cupboard.
It's
a great place.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
can-
sir.
we can
Welcome,
hear you
Adam.
now.
There we go. Little technical issues I've been having here.
Oh, what's up, Adam? I feel like this is the story of your life, whatever that old show was. I was like, who, Adam? I'm
This
racking
is
my
your
brain.
life.
As soon as his voice came out, oh, wow, now I know who we're talking to.
I know this guy. This is Adam from 2020Mendocino, one of our sponsors. What's up, Adam? How are you doing tonight?
Not much. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, and your
In the
show's
flesh.
grown quite a bit, and it's cool to finally jump on here. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I think sometime last summer, around the time of the grow off, would probably be the last time that we had talked to you guys on camera, anyway.
Yeah. So I just figured I've been sort of lagging on our own podcast for the last 6 months or so, and figured I'd chime in and just check in and say hi to everyone and
So how'd you
sit
guys do?
in for a little bit.
How'd you guys do out to Gene Traders today? I know you guys were out there. I just didn't make it out.
You know, we're kind of a long-term sponsor for the show, so we were not physically there. But you know, our products are there, and we're sort of a permanent sponsor there with the show. So we're at all of them, but at none of them.
I heard from people that did go that it was crazy. It was just full of people.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Lou, the guy that runs those is really sort of taken them and ran, and it seems like he's done a good job with it. So yeah, I know I get requests all the time from people like, when are you gonna have it in, you know, Arizona, and like I don't run them, but people see our name on them, so they think we have something to do with it on the administrative end. But yeah, they're quite a little hit, and it's cool. You know, it's a good concept, and just gets a lot of like-minded people, and it's not industry based, you know, like a lot of these shows are. So it's cool. It's really kind of like back to the roots style shows that we're all of us are, you know, more used to, not the CanCon type, you know, events.
Right. Yeah, it's nice.
Well,
to
I was super surprised that we could walk right outside the Cobo Hall, right outside the Cobo Hall door, and just spark up, and nobody gave us any shit at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure we were supposed to, but we did, and it went down just fine.
It was fucking
BD,
raining.
baby.
Nobody's gonna walk in the rain to give a shit.
We were definitely not supposed to, though, but it was fun. The fact that nobody gave a shit. Well, somebody might have.
If you stand there and act like you don't give a shit, though, no, it seems like everybody.
I don't think we were the only ones.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, everybody was in these little packs. This one guy tried
Well,
to
they're
merge into
vaping.
ours really awkwardly.
He did?
Yeah, you missed
Yeah.
it. It was in between
really?
me and Spartan, and then like we kind of just didn't do anything or turn towards
Like,
him. And he left.
What, it was trying to bump in on get on the cipher?
Yeah, we already had a pretty big
good.
cipher.
Like,
You
come
know
on
what I'm talking
now.
about? Yeah. We don't. Yeah.
All my time spent in the city, there was usually no concern for smoking. Although this is prior to the return of Detroit by almost single-handedly through Dan Gilbert. But aside from like 10 years ago, there's no concern at all anywhere downtown, really. Now there's a little bit more enforcement down there. You know, there's a few more office spaces, maybe a couple more concerned people, but rarely. Everybody.
I mean,
turns
we were
around.
right. We were
Nobody
standing in
wants
front of the
to
glass
smoke.
doors of Kobo.
Yeah, we were.
Smoked like
that's
4
not the
joints.
first time that has happened, and I can guarantee that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
at the same time, to be fair, just one thing, because this was fucking amazing. To be fair, walking
it's a
down the
great place
fucking
out there.
sidewalk, what passes us but a mobile
You
fucking
should've went-
bar?
Oh,
went
yeah.
around
So you
the
got a
other
mobile
side,
bar.
you're
It's
right
not
on the
gonna give a shit for
riverfront.
smoking, man.
You gotta go. You gotta go to the
Riverwalk,
to the
yeah.
to the south side of the building where the Riverwalk is, because then at least you have a little bit of scenery. I'm not sure which side you went out. Hopefully it was that side.
No, we were on the road side.
Oh,
Yeah,
on the
but-
roadside,
yeah.
naturally. Yeah.
But Adam, I wanted to ask you some questions. You have anything coming up on the 2020 front that you're willing to share with us, like breeding projects, maybe
Seed drops.
upcoming drops, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's no secrets or anything. We've sort of we've shifted a strategy quite a bit back towards pretty heavy R&D, and a lot sort of slower on the roll as far as drops go. But we're always sort of 4 or 5 steps ahead of, you know, privately where we are publicly.
Right.
But because it takes so long to get seeds into actual production, and we take the R&D and the testing part pretty serious. So yeah, we're usually basically figuring out what we're going to be making a year from now at any given time. But our big projects lately have been really pushing towards a lot of outdoor, really just back to our roots of outdoor worthy strains. And what we get is a lot of requests from Midwesterners and the East Coast folks for the basically early finishing varieties, which we
Sure.
have quite a bit in our stable, and not really a lot that we've released, but a lot that we've kind of gotten our stash box of seeds. So we're going back to those roots, and that process started about two years ago, really fully, where we were like dedicating space to that. So we've got one that's ready to drop now. It's called Snow G, and it's our Sour Snow crossed with SFVOG. Sour Snow was
Wow, that sounds awesome.
yeah, it's really good. It's
Amazing.
super
That's my
just
favorite
gassed
OG,
out,
too.
mega potent. It's kind of odd that it came out so early, because Sour Snow is an early harvesting, early variety. It's usually like the first week of October, and it was really one of our best outdoor strains we ever grew. And then we crossed it with SFVOG, which is not a particularly early variety. It's maybe like the second week or third week of October, and almost all the offspring turned out to be September ripeners. So don't know how that happened. It was totally accident, but it sort of won our outdoor pheno hunt contest 2 years in a row. And the first year we didn't really take it that serious. We only had about 6 plants. So we're like, God, we got to redo this. So then last year we redid it with a lot more plants and then hunted out the winner. So we sort of have 2 winners from 2 years in a row. I think one was the E6 and the E11. And then the next year was, well, I forget, it's just numbers and letters. But anyways, so now we're in full production. We already did a full production run of the 2020 winner of that, and the seeds are actually available now. We just haven't done the actual drop per se. So
that's what I was going to ask. Now you talked about them, somebody in chat's wondering where they can get them, and they're going to start asking that question. So you're going to have to make them available to people.
Yeah, we totally can. They've been tested. They're ready to go. I guess drops are intimidating kind of, because it usually brings a whole bunch of of sales, which I know that sounds bad, but we're just always like, sometimes I hate bringing that on. It's like, oh man, sort of it's a lot to take. We sort of have to be like prepared for it. But we've got these other 2 that are next in line, and they're so badass, man. We've got one that's called we call it Something Good, and it is spectacular strain. It's Sour Snow. It's a Sour Snow cross with the Sour Strawberry, and that's, I think, Sour Strawberry that was one of our first releases, and it's also an early harvesting variety. I think when we got involved with you guys in that contest last year, was the Sour Strawberry with the strawberry with the
pineapple tie.
Yeah, so it's the same parent, and then we crossed out with the Sour Snow, and it's fabulous. Super early September, late September. It's not going to be ready for this year at all. I mean, we're not even at the
What's the terps on that one like?
Oh man, I mean, it sort of fits that like nasty rotten grape strawberry smell that a lot of our strains have, some of our like best stuff. And then the other one we call the Smell of Success, which is the Great Success, which is pretty much one of my all-time favorite strains. That was a Island Mountain Strawberry Kush crossed with Ogre Berry. So it was Ogre Kush crossed with the Sour Strawberry, and I'm sorry, the Island Mountain Strawberry, and then that crossed back onto the Island Mountain Strawberry, and it's just nasty. I mean, it's like rotten feet, like baby shit, nasty fruit, all combined together into this.
Oh man,
it's almost disgusting, but I love that. Like, I love the disgustingly just terped out strains. So we've got a lot of varieties actually based on that. We've got the Avenue of the Giants, which has been it's really a spectacular strain as well. That's a great success cross. But then the Smell of Success is another September ripener, and
nice.
I'm all about that
great.
snow cane, man. That snow cane that Spartan holds that he entered and won with. That is the fucking number one thing I would love to smoke in the morning for a wake and bake. So
That's
thank you so
awesome.
much for that, man.
Hey Adam, I got a question for you, brother.
Yeah.
These early ripeners, these ones that are ripening in September, are they initiating their flower sets early, or are they initiating them in like July, or are they just really short flower cycle plants and they're still
It's a good
initiating
question,
in
Red.
August or late August? Because sometimes I don't get my plants, like right now I just took a couple plants outside and it's almost, it'll be July. So sometimes it might not even get in the ground until July.
Yep.
So I'm just curious, like, is that a bad move with these genetics,
No.
or will they
So
still veg out for me?
that's a fabulous question, and I'm gonna give you a little secret about our outdoor pheno hunt garden that we run. I literally sprouted the seeds yesterday for them. Like, we start everything really late
Cool.
because
Hell yeah.
we don't have a tremendous amount of space,
Sweet.
and I don't like huge outdoor plants. It's sort of the classic like Humboldt Mendo Emerald Triangle plants are these just mega giant, 6-pound plants, 10-pound plants. I hate dealing with those plants. I've never liked them. I'd rather plant 10 1-pounders than have one 10-pounder. So the only issue that we have with starting them this late is when you're doing a pheno hunt on them and you're trying to collect clones from them, you have a really short window. Because they are sort of trigger happy, those early finishing varieties. I want to answer your question though, before I go on. It's both. So they do start flowering earlier, and they're also really fast ripening plants. So it's a combination, but they do tend to be quite like finicky strains like that. It really comes from the Afghan roots. We've got some old school, like we just call them like Humboldt heirloom Afghans, and they're these just really slow growing, really short squatty, like pure indica or very close to pure indica varieties, and they're super finicky as hell. Like they trigger into flower for almost anything, just stress. And a lot of people think they're auto flowers. They're totally not auto flowers, and they're not. There's no auto flower gene in them. It's just they just sort of come off of that way.
Yeah, but
I
if you
used to
guys have
think
kept
that
them
they
all
had
these years, there's
autoflower
got to
gene
be
in them.
something to it, You guys have kept them for years, so there's got to be something to them that you're able to cross out and just brings out magic and something else.
About the
Afghan.
Oh, yeah.
Heirloom.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, that's really what made a lot of the Emerald Triangle strains, and the early finishing varieties almost all tend to be from that sort of lineage that I've seen, most of them. But you can take that, you can get that gene and still get it into a pretty heavy sativa dominant strain. So it's not like everything that's early finishing is a short squatty indica, but it certainly typically needs to get those genetics through breeding.
We had another
Thanks, Adam.
question, Adam,
Appreciate
about Limelight from a viewer in the chat who got it as a tester and said that it's one of their favorite plants and was wondering on an update on if it was going to release and what the lineage was.
Well, it has released. I have a pack in my vault.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so that was a true limited release that we've rarely done. In fact, we only did it with 2 strains ever, where we actually listed them as limited release, and sort of at the time never planned on bringing them back. But we do still have some of the original beans, and it actually, interestingly, that strain came up just the other day because, like I said, I'm starting my seeds right now for our outdoor hunt. So we do 2 things when we run the outdoor hunt. We pick about 5 strains that we're actually going to do a full pheno hunt of and take clones and everything, like the whole 9 yards. And then we do the sort of pollinating hunt where we grow about 5 plants of a bunch of different strains, and then we pollinate like the bottom branches on all of them with our favorite outdoors. So we'll probably do like those 3 I mentioned, like the Snow G and the Smell of Success and Something Good. We'll have reversed pollen of those, and we'll go around and sprinkle the bottoms of all the plants in the whole garden with that pollen and mark the branches and everything. And Limelight's one that came up as one that we should probably do in the pollinating pheno hunt, because I don't think it's going to make the cut for the massive clone, taking clones, 30 plants or whatnot, pheno hunt. But I'd like to say that we are hoping to bring that strain back. We've had a lot of good feedback on it. It did good for the outdoor folks. It wasn't particularly like super early, but it was in October. You know, it wasn't a November variety, which we don't even really mess with those anymore.
What was the cross on that one again?
Oh, it was, God, I want to say it was key lime pie, which was
key lime pie.
One of our just a really good, like, sort of cookies, you know. I think it's some sort of cookie strain, but man, it was bomb. Like, we grew it for a long time commercially, and everyone just loved it. It was always a big hit, but it had terrible powder mold issues, so we never really could get that out of it. But the offspring didn't seem to, so I don't know if it was systemic or what it was, but it was terrible. It would, like, just the worst powder mold issues like I've ever seen on any plant.
It's not good.
No, but yeah, we didn't have a problem with the limelight, so I don't know if it was just again, it could have just been systemic in the, you know, in the clone stock we had. But I want to say it was man, now you guys are putting me on the spot, but I want to say it was crossed with like our Mendo Breath Banana Kush or something. I feel like a fool not knowing that, but
yeah, it's shout out to Kingfisher. He says key lime pie is Mendo Breath crossed with Banana Kush.
Okay, good. I had it right. All right,
nice.
Yeah, killer variety. We've got a bunch of those Mendo Breath Banana Kush crosses too that we've never released. We have a tremendous amount of stuff that we've made that we just either never got to testing or we just never released it. So we usually make 10, you know, 10 for every 10 things we make, we might choose one to actually put into the catalog. So
I guess you have a Mendo on your menu. What is it? Is it Mendo cookies, or is that which one's yours?
Yeah, that's one of our originals. Yep.
I got that in the bank.
Nice.
One thing I got that too, I think. But one thing that I've noticed, like, across the board, that's like that I can tell, like, I'm like, wow, that's a 2020 strain. You know what I mean? Is that they grow fucking vigorous as shit, dude. Is like, especially
huge stems.
Yeah, huge stems, especially when I put them outside. Like, I got that sparkle face outside. Oh my god, man, that thing is not even that old, and that stem is like easily this big around. I'm like, this thing is beasting out.
She's a feeder.
But, yeah, we've also been getting torrential downpours too, so you know, all that nitrogen in the water is probably helping.
Yeah. No, that's we actually just harvested sparkle face yesterday. And yeah, I tagged you on a post, actually. I noticed you commented on it. But yeah, that one turned out really good, and that was with the Spartan Snow Cane. So and that was the Spice, which is the whip crossed with biscotti, and then that crossed onto the Spartan Snow Cane. So
I'm super excited because
Wow.
I was really a huge fan of that biscotti you guys have. So I'm super stoked for that. And I love, like, how early it is in veg, and it's still like on the stem rub, or even when you just take a leaf off or something, it just reeks already. So that's always a good sign.
Did you get some of the new version 2 Snow Canes?
Yes, I have a pack of those too sitting in my vault. Yep.
Yeah, you definitely get that going. So
okay.
It's we hunted out like our version of the Snow Cane here, and then we had your version that was hunted in Michigan. So it's kind of a cool culmination. But
love that. It's like Cali Michigan connection. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and it's really good stuff, man. So the Cali version was like the super terp bomb, and a little shorter and squattier, a little darker colored, and yours, like, your version was a little more like tall and loaded with buds, kind of all like, I'm trying to think of how to explain it, like balls, like nugs all over it.
Uniform,
you know?
yeah, really uniform nugs.
Yeah. So, but this was the super terp bomb. So we basically got the terpiest one with the best growing, like, sort of high, you know, best uppity, uplifting high and everything. And yeah, the new version it's really good, man.
Wake and bake.
I'm excited for it, man. Yep, I got to get into those too. And then I got from the next thing I'm popping, I got from Brandon Rust, and it's that Limerilla. His version 2 or his F2s of the Limerilla, I think, times the Mac. So I just got to see what that's about.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'll be
Yeah.
doing Snow Cane version 2. And actually, I'll be looking to probably replace my version of Snow Cane. So if I can get a better version, I'll probably replace my cut.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. It's
Dude,
out
it's
there in the world,
fantastic.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's out there. I'll
I
get
don't
you
think
a
it's
cut.
going anywhere.
That's good shit, man. We had a question in chat that's going to go right to you directly, Spartan. Foe by Foe asked, "Yo, weed nerds, anyone run Cuvée or Vortex? First time running and wondering if Cuvée is a heavier feeder than most plants. Thank you."
No, I found quite the opposite. I didn't find Cuvée to be a heavy feeder at all. And Vortex was one of my favorite highs ever. So that's an awesome plant. That Vortex I found to be, you're growing opposite plants, man. So the Vortex tended to be one of those stretchy, tall plants. And your Cuvée was the opposite, slower growing, stockier, shorter plant that kind of bushes out a lot, puts out more tops.
Growing a
Vortex,
Cuvée cross right now. I think it kind of feeds heavy,
what's
but maybe it's the Ruby Jack that's in it.
that's the F2 I think he used in that. The Cuvée F2s, it's not the F. I've been growing the F1s, so that might make a
Okay.
difference too. They use different parent stock because the first parents got burned up in the fire.
That's a good point. It could be
Oh,
different
no.
for sure. Tara, would you like to tell us about your nuts?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of eating them. These are yummy. I got these from Abolished and Miss C. These are so yummy. Infused cannabis. These ones are peanuts. I have some sunflower seeds. My favorite have been the Mix nuts, though. Those are super, super good. You get pecans and walnuts, sunflower seeds, but here's the sunflower seeds one. Super yummy, and I really have to stop myself from eating them. They're really good, but
You were
That
having
was going to
trouble
be my
talking.
question.
Did you have
100
nuts in your mouth?
milligrams. Yeah, I like nuts in my mouth. Some of
How
that's
do you
good.
stop yourself from eating? Like, what's the dosage on those?
It's 100 milligrams for the bag.
Okay.
Okay, so
So,
you just do a whole
I
bag.
know what I'm able to eat, so I'm kind of just going with what I know I'm able to do, and I know I can eat this whole bag. So, but I'm not going to. Because,
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
not going to just because I don't need that many peanuts. But yeah, I could definitely eat the whole bag, no problem. So yummy, very good, tasty. Thank you, appreciate them.
Shredder says nuts and no dicks, question mark.
Ooh, I definitely have dicks too. I definitely have some my gummies. I don't think I ever don't have those anymore.
Tara's always got a
took
full house.
Adam hasn't seen the show in a
took
minute, so
those
he
to
doesn't know what we're talking about.
this
But
weekend out.
Those
My,
sunflower
son
seeds would be
finally
great
had
if you
some.
can't get to sleep. Chow down on those
Oh my
sunflower
gosh, I
seeds.
know. I was just telling people that sunflower seeds is a really good thing. A good handful of them is a good thing to get you sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
even
has
if they're just
the
THC,
amino
those sunflower
acids in
seeds
it
in
are
general.
sedatives. Yeah, really
Mhm.
wild. I used to eat a handful
It
of
works
sunflower
too.
seeds.
It's for real.
Out. Like, can't wake up or can't keep your eyes open type of knockout.
It's
Like
true.
heavy purple. You smoke that deep purple and you're like,
Yeah,
Tara, you know
and
that
what's
mixed hash
crazy
run.
is
Tara
what's
knows the
crazy is they
hash.
generally are testing low on THC, but they always seem to hit me hard. Those purple strains, they're like
Knock you
Mhm.
out.
sedative like that.
I got Granddaddy Purple. I had to smoke when I woke up in the middle of the night at 5 a.m. the other day, and I couldn't get back to sleep because I just woke up like, I don't know, just wide eyed, panic attack mode. I had to smoke some of that and get back to bed. It was great. Ugh.
Yep.
Just knocked me right back out.
Put you right back.
Adam, we just had rain here in Michigan for like 4 or 5 days in a row, or very, very, very quickly together. Is that something you guys run into there on the coast? Do you have any, recommendations for outdoor growers and what to do when it rains on their plants?
Well, I tell you that in the West here, we're extremely jealous of the rain you're getting, in that we're in like a 10-year drought right now. And we've had just insanely dry winters. And then, of course, summers are just, zero rain. We won't get rain now until November. So, no, for the coast and the mold issues, we typically just have like morning
The humidity and
sort of
stuff.
coastal, marine layer that comes in, and you know, with the rain, the like a lot of people in really rainy climates actually grow with like sort of like greenhouses with no sides on them, because you don't want to trap the humidity. So you end up, if you just build a greenhouse and don't have a ton of good humidity control, you'll end up having more trouble than just letting them be outside. Um,
I
but
almost ran into
man,
that myself, almost.
yeah, I mean that's basically the designs that a lot of people in the tropics grow like that. So if they're not growing like a really hardy sativa or something, they'll grow under covered clear, basically under clear plastic, but with totally open sides. It's like a carport or something.
That makes sense. Or throw up your
Yeah.
own little hoop house.
That's what Doc Dankenstein did last year, literally with a carport with plastic on the top. Terry, you remember?
Yeah, it's our style. I feel like it worked out really well. Lots of airflow.
The only
I
tip
dig
is
it.
to make sure you take the plastic down at the end of the year. Do not leave the plastic up all year. You will have bad things happen when it gets the wind blowing and wrecks the whole fucking frame.
Yeah.
Another
So are you guys at this? That's obviously not mold problem at this point, but you're just like getting wrecked plants or something.
Well, just a question mostly for the
Standing water.
viewers, and yeah, in Detroit there was people kayaking down the streets and stuff.
Holy
So
crap.
some places there's a lot of standing water in basements, even flooding and different shit. That's all different problem, but
One tip that I do year after year now is I like to do a smart pot and then dig a hole so that I can sink it about halfway in the ground. So that makes like a real quick, easy raised bed. So at least you elevate the top feeder roots out of the water. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a little help to you have runoff. So that's what I do, and I'm glad I did this year, especially.
Well, something stupid is I watched a person take one of those gigantic terracotta pots, like you would put a small tree in, and she got the grinder out and she ground the whole bottom of it off and then filled it full of mix, put it right on the soil, and figures that way, you're making it ornamental, but it's still growing the roots right into the ground below. It's almost like if you had a fabric pot, right before you transplanted it, I mean, unless you're that guy that wants to save it, could literally just cut the bottom out of it and drag it over there.
it seems like a lot of work to have a terracotta pot instead of a different one, but it's a cool idea.
When it's my decorative plants, brother, it's got to be fancy.
I know you're real bougie, and
That's right.
everything's got to be your way.
I'm curious, Adam, have you heard anything about the MCMA drama that we've been having here in Michigan?
Well, I've definitely seen a lot of your guys' like funny memes
Little
you've been
meme,
putting out.
yeah,
so,
little memes.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. No, I mean it's not funny. I mean I definitely got get the sense of what's going on. You basically got like a group of big money cannabis companies came together and are sort of lobbying with to change the rules. I mean, in a nutshell, right?
Hey, you nailed it.
Yeah,
Sounds
Succinctly,
classic.
very.
It's a very much a repeat, and I like to bring this up a lot of the story that happened in California where you are, and we've actually seen a lot of small farms go under in California as they tried to legalize and different things like that. And we're just repeating all the same steps here in Michigan now, so trying to get ahead of it a little bit, fight back.
Yeah, I mean you guys definitely have the right you're trying to team up and build up a force against that. I mean, that's
we've made a lot of positive. I mean, literally, it's been just a campaign of spreading the knowledge right now. It's not like a super organized effort as far as walking around with picket signs and things like that. Just asking people not to buy these products from these companies that are affiliated with the lobby group. And
we just had one of the companies not show up to an event that they paid $4,000 at to show up to and promote their brand.
Nice.
Yeah, and we've had the president of the lobby group step down. We've had the one of the companies supposedly step out. We'll see. And so we've had some positive movement from just getting together and voicing our opinion. So I just think that's fucking amazing. even if it's fighting a losing battle, I'm gonna go down fighting rather than just sit there and watch it happen.
Absolutely. No, that's sort of the pattern that I'm almost sure that we talked about this when you guys interviewed me, but whatever that was a couple years ago. And one of the things, you guys asked me was what any sort of advice for an up and coming market, which at the time Michigan was very much like a fledgling market, and now it's not. Now you guys are fully maturing into it, but that was, I think, one of the things I brought up was be ready for the realities of capitalism, which that's exactly what that is. And the same things happen to us. Small farms are getting pushed out, and it's not only like it's a double front too, because what you've got two things coming. You got the big corporations who are essentially trying to control the market, and then you've just got the realities of being a legal business, which is a whole nother thing. And even here in California, we don't have such thing as a home grower's license at all. I mean, that was never even on the table for us. Like, you're either a business or not, and if you're a business, you follow all the standard protocols of every other business in the state, which includes wheelchair accessible buildings and bathrooms. And it's a pain in the ass, and it's super expensive, and you're talking $100,000 or something just for those functions. Like, and then we've got environmental things and all that on top of it, which is an additional insane amount of headache and money. But if you guys can keep that sort of home grower system, that's the best thing you got going for you. If you can keep that in any shape or form, that's going to be huge. And I see also a lot of things coming out of specific townships, like up in Clio, for instance, where I'm sure you guys are familiar with that too.
Yep, Flushing Township. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's that's a whole other, that's the small government trying to push it out. So
happening in Scobo's area
It's
now.
happening in Port Huron as well. Yes.
The funny thing about that is we still have hope there, because what those townships are doing is actually being argued right now in the Michigan Supreme Court. So depending on which way they rule there, no matter what fucking rules they come up with, it could be deemed unconstitutional anyway.
Yeah, eventually, but who's going to get caught in a dragnet first, though, is the bigger concern.
Yeah, that's true. Really, I mean, the biggest thing you use right now, from what I've heard, shout out to a Special Blend Wifey on Instagram. She has been doing a lot of activism out there and going to these meetings. And what she said that they've had the most success with is because the caregivers are written under the medical law. We have the medical protections, which includes HIPAA rights and everything else like that, and privacy rights for patients, both patients and caregivers. So a lot of these regulations that these people are proposing are like, oh, we have to have a list with your name on it. We have to have, all of that goes against all the privacy laws. So what they're proposing is against the law. Already laws on the book. So if you're in one of those areas and you can make it to those meetings, go in there and make sure that they know about that. Say, look, you guys are writing laws against the privacy, the HIPAA laws. So we have ammo. Just the thing is to get somebody to go to a meeting like that and to step up and talk. That's a lot. A lot of people don't like talking in front of people. So I can't I can't look down on you if you don't do it. But I really implore you that if you have no fear of talking in front of people, please go voice your opinion.
Yeah, stand up for what you believe in.
And yep, I think everyone teaming together and building up a voice is the most important thing, because there's one thing that I've seen here is it never stops. It won't just stop with MCMA, like stop, oh, now we're not going to, it will never ever stop. It's still happening in Mendocino. At every board of supervisor meeting, there's some new rule that's coming out that's either been pushed from either an environmental group or a lobbyist group, or a really big group of, basically a lobbyist group of high dollar cannabis companies that are in some way, shape, or form trying to weasel out the smaller. And a lot of times it's very well shrouded. It's not so obvious as it is maybe with this MCMA thing going on now in Michigan.
No, we got lucky and found out some information before they could get rid of it and wipe it. That's it wasn't. Right. We only know around half of the members. We don't even know all the members. So, but they kept taking their website down.
Oh man.
Did you see that they posted a video of spider mites on plants as their splash screen on their website? They did.
No, they did. That was funny. Like, it was their splash screen for a long time in the background. We just happened to notice it late because it was one that moves in the background if you don't move the screen. And it was a close-up macro video of these infested plants. Not only infested plants, fucking male flower.
How did they not notice that? It was so obvious.
Just share it. We can share it for them. Because I think the world should see this as many times as possible.
It was really bad.
A news outlet out in, I don't know if it was online or I can't remember the source, but it was out of Quebec, was it? Somewhere in Canada was playing it. So, hey, now even international news. And they were laughing about it just as hard as we were when we saw it. As soon as we noticed it, I think it was a late sesh we were on. I asked them to share it because I was like, I knew as soon as it got out that of course they're going to take their website down and fix it.
Yeah.
But
the late sesh lives on.
So
No way.
You can see the bugs on the leaves right there already.
It gets better. Wait, what's that, fellas? Wait, what's that?
What the hell?
Just mute her. Look at that. So, I mean, you can see the webbing and it's actual video. You can see the like spider mites moving around and shit.
Why'd they show a male flower?
I couldn't. It's mind boggling to me, dude. It's just like, it's the universe rewarding us. You know what I mean? It's karma.
The mites crawling.
This just goes to show they had someone doing this that had no clue about cannabis.
Or maybe they did, and it was an inside job.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's true too. You're sneaky, Scobo. I'm making a note of that.
Well,
put it in the book, man.
Put it in the book.
This is the sad thing, is that these people with money, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but these sort of like investors, I mean, they're clueless people. They, as far as in the cannabis world goes, like it's sad, that these people are coming in and they're not part of this culture at all. It's just money signs in their heads, and that's all it is. And that's proof right there. That video. I mean, exactly, that's something like that got all the way through.
Right.
The investor wouldn't see that and see spider mites or anything. They wouldn't know that's a male flower.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, look at that pretty flower."
Look at the size of that trichome.
Yeah, and it's a good point because I work in design in the day job, and people sign off on that stuff. A lot of people do before it gets to that point. So it's a very funny thing to see up there.
I just don't understand how the moving bugs. I mean, even if you have no idea about plants, I mean, movement catches your eye, man. I mean, you catch it and you're like, what is that fucking thing moving? I don't know. I love it. That's karma, man. It just makes me smile.
So this is not a group that's all like operated under one umbrella. It's just a bunch of different companies that went basically in on a lobby group, or is that list of corporations actually operated under one sort of roof?
No, separate. Yeah, separate companies. So far we know of 6 out of 13 companies that are part of the MCMA.
Yeah, I've seen the list.
Yeah. Well, the list that you see is kind of a conglomeration of what you said. A lot of them are brands that are umbrellas under those 6 parent companies that we know of. So like we know that Green Peak is one of the 6 companies. So everyone that's affiliated with Green Peak, which is like Shorts Brewing, which is Sky Mint and different things like that, DNA. So that's how those names ended up on the list. It was because they're under the roof of.
I see.
Sherbinsky.
And honestly, Green Peak is the absolute example of like the absolute worst fucking example of corporate cannabis. Like they're the worst enemy of cannabis in the state.
And they did this same thing in Canada. Green Peak did. They partnered with Canopy and lobbied to take home grow rights away in Canada.
And here in Michigan, when the adult use went legal the first year, there was no grows to supply the demand. So the state allowed caregivers to bring their overages in to help with that demand. And at that time, Green Peak put out ads to hire, in classifieds or whatever, to hire people to go stand at the Capitol and protest the caregiver product. And the caregiver product had to be metric tested. It wasn't like it was just like untested product or something. And to put them all in their Green Peak shirts and stuff and
Yeah, there's like 30 people in Green Peak shirts protesting at the Capitol
You
by
know,
themselves.
some of the worst of this
Bum,
is
bum,
that like
bum,
the access is
bum.
just like limiting more and more, right? They think that they're gonna be able to sell more, but like half of the shops and half of the growers and a lot of these entities, because of the way Michigan's licensing is structured out, they don't have to have like the medical license prerequisite to be an adult use capacity at like large scale. I'm pretty sure like maybe not process, but like provisioning centers needed medical licenses and things, and a lot have like let those licenses either lapse or they're not renewing them.
yeah, because that rec is gone now. You don't have to have
and-
it both.
And just not to have those products on the shelves is one thing, but you're limiting an age group. You're limiting the age group of 18 to 21
sure.
of medical patients. And that one right there specifically hits me to the heart, because when I was 12 years old, my cousin passed
Well, what
away
they're-
from brain cancer. Okay. And she
But
was
the
18.
workaround, Red, is what.
Well, hold
they're
on,
gonna
man.
tell
Hold
you.
on, man. Let me finish my story real quick, because my
Sure.
cousin was 18 years old. She died, but maybe cannabis could have helped her. This was prior to like any cannabis laws even. I was 12 or 13, right? And
Alright.
so if she needs access at 18 years old, she can't get it in a legal shop. In an adult use shop, even with a med card, you can't walk in unless you're 21 years old. So that limits access. You have to have your parents go get it. You have to have your friend who's 21 or somebody go get it. And so now, with not allowing these people to grow at home or to have caregiver limiting access, we're limiting so much access. And this hits me personally in a lot of different ways, because that's one of the reasons why I grow cannabis in the first place, is because I lost my cousin who could have used cannabis to help with her cancer or anything like that prior to whatever had happened. You know what I mean? Sorry, Spartan, to cut you off, but I really needed to get that off my chest, because this is a very important thing for me on how access is so limited, man. 5/6 of the state is a red zone. So it doesn't even matter if you're a caregiver in these zones. You can't get a license. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you had somebody that you knew that was 18 or under 21, they can still get the product if you have a caregiver, right? So that's what they want. They want the caregivers not to be able to grow enough products, so they have to go to the dispensary to buy the product.
And they still can't even go there because they're adult in the adult use. So you have to be 21. So
the caregiver,
where do you go?
The
caregiver could go, I suppose, but
that's
then
what I'm saying.
You have to get a caregiver. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what they want, though. They want to push them all to the shops rather than allowing the caregiver.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Push the caregivers to the shops. I got you.
Trying to make the caregiver a middleman.
Yeah. So now we have to spend money. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, exactly. So then that's how you get less access, because then people won't be able to afford to be able to, because the prices that they're paying for the caregiver are usually half or lower than what you get.
Sorry, I see more people getting sicker, not better. The I don't even want to get into it live, bro. So like, you're just not full spectrum. There's not full plant medicine, distillate. Come on, man. Who's getting better off of distillate?
Yep, distillate.
I know. Not to offend anybody who is getting better off of distillate, okay? Because it happens. Full plant medicine is just far more activating on your system. So.
And on that subject, we will have RSO available at Luzerne. So stop by for your full spectrum plant medicine.
By the forkful.
By the forkful.
Have you seen that little video? I think it was rosin, but it was a little rosin ball on a little mini catapult. They shot it, and it was into
the hoop.
Basket hoop. Yeah, just had people sitting there trying to catch it in their mouth, and that would be sweet.
That would be sweet. Red's the only one that I would know that would enjoy getting a ball of RSO shot in his mouth.
I'll open up, fling it on a fork. It better be an accurate glob, because if
miss him and hit him
it
between
doesn't
the
land
eyes.
perfectly all right, I need to rephrase my sentence here. Okay. If it gets anywhere
That was almost going to be
decides
memed.
where I need to have it. Okay. All right. Jesus. All right. So
They
Let it
just-
go. Let
on
it
the
go.
face is
Let it
fine,
go.
but not in
RSO
the
is completely
eyes.
no. Do not get
Exactly.
RSO in your beard. Don't get RSO anywhere.
Not in your
except-
eyes.
Yeah,
Just
no.
not in your eyes, right, Red?
Not definitely
Not
not
in
in
your
the
hair?
eyes. Definitely not in the hair. Definitely not in the forehead. You guys are killing me.
You put yourself here, brother. You could
I
have just let
try
it go.
not
We
to.
let
I
you
so
walk
try not to.
away.
You know, so like that, you just have to swallow it, man. You can't let it touch, and you can't get it on your teeth. You can't nothing. You'll be
The real
like
pro
eating
tip: you
wax
just
for
swallow
a
it
month.
down.
The hatch. You guys suck.
You guys suck, he says.
Pineapple juice helps, I heard.
Yep, pineapple juice, Red.
Helps.
I definitely put myself in the middle of that one, and for that I
In the
have to-
firing line, in
Yep.
harm's way,
Yep, it's okay. It's all right.
in the
though.
line of fire.
It's okay. I'm happy about it. I'll take my loads of RSO just fine.
So, Adam, I have another question for you before we get off. We're done here in 5 minutes. I'm growing a new round of plants in my flower room, including apple fritter, and it's really impressing me. Is there a new cut that a new hype cross, or not a new hype cross necessarily, but a new hype cut that you're working with or that you're interested in growing because it's impressed you as well?
You
Like
know,
I-
we're sort of going back to the classics. The last sort of hype strain that we ran with was the biscotti, which I still love to this day.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, we have the plug on basically so much different stuff, and we're just never really happy with everything we grow. So we're like, why are we doing this? Why don't we sort of bend the mold or break the mold of like, you know, chasing and start producing what we actually like to smoke and what we like to grow. So we're going back to some of this old stock genetics that we have in our 20-year storage vault. You know, a lot of those old Afghanis we're going to start bringing out, and these are fabulous strains. They smoke good, they grow good, and they're unique. You know, they're not sort of
Yeah, I noticed that when I asked you what you were working on, you didn't list anything that was like a new cross or anything like that. It was all legacy stuff that you guys have been working on for a long time.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're going back to. I mean, I just think there's so much good stuff around here already that is just as good or better than a lot of, you know, the whatever, like the latest rappers singing about or whatever.
Right,
And I
exactly.
don't need some like hip hop guy telling me what good weed is. Because every time they do, we try it and we end up ripping them out and throwing them away, you know? So I'm kind of over that, you know, sort of like letting the trends and trying to make things that people will buy because of what it's crossed with. So I want to make something, I want to prove to the world that it's good. And if it takes longer, it might take longer, but when people try it, like the truth comes out, you know, the truth prevails. This is why
Sure.
hype is exactly what it is. Hype. Most of these strains don't last long. You know, the true good strains are the ones that were around 10 years ago and are still around today, you know, and that's when you know, like, okay, that's actually good. Because if it was just a hype strain that got rapped about, it's here today, gone tomorrow, just like a one-hit wonder song, you know, like, oh, what happened to that? I don't hear it anymore. I mean, look at like Sour Diesel, you know, good old like Sour D, like that shit. That's good. That's good flour. It's still, you know, I can still get cuts of that. I could get
Dude, I
cuts
just
of that
smoked some of that
15 years
today.
ago. What's that?
So I just smoked some of that today.
Totally, man. I mean, that to me, that's like where the truth prevails, you know? So, and actually speaking of which, we're making some Sour D crosses. We have a cut of a strain that we just call it Last on Earth, but we got it from a buddy that was like, this is the last plant on the planet of this cut of Sour D.
Oh, nice.
And we ran it for a while.
Oh,
And we
hell
crossed
yeah.
it with a bunch of stuff. And so we're running a bunch of testers of that right now. And it was a really good classic. We grew a lot of Sour D back in the day. So I've definitely got my finger on the pulse as to like what the real sour is versus what some of the newer stuff that's kind of floated around is. And you can't fake Sour Diesel. You know what I mean? It has a
Right.
look and a smell that is so distinct. You know, you can see it from 10 feet away or smell it from 10 feet away, and you know it's what it is. So, yeah. And we got this Afghani that we sort of brought back from the dead through the help of a friend that literally came from like an old hippie in the 70s, and it's like the real classic like comeback story in a way that was almost glossed. The guy died. Someone retrieved it from his house before his like straight family got there to clean his house out, and I ended up with a cut of it, and it's just real deal, like great like rotten fruit gas, classic Afghani. So we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff with that as well, and it's an early ripener, so that fits our early ripening sort of plan that we're on.
Sweet, man. Thank you very much for coming on. We got 1 minute left, so I want to give you a proper thank you. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Adam, as well as our other sponsors, Easy Swap Pots and State Genetics and Madam Euphoria Farms. Skilbo, what do you think?
I think it's great. And anyone that's really liking what Adam was talking about, make sure and go back into our old episodes of podcasts and check out the Adam from 2020 Mendocino. Thanks, Adam, for coming and joining us tonight.
You bet, guys. I'll try to jump in more often here. It was real fun.
Yeah,
Adam,
man.
I'm going to try to send you some of these thunderstorms, man. Get you some rain.
Oh man, we need it.
They're about to hit right now.